Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to my first pregame video. In today's video, I will do a pregame show of the Virginia Tech Hokies football game this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. as they take on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights at SHI Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey. The Scarlet Knights are led by head coach Greg Schiano. Schiano has an all-time record of 81-89. He served as the head coach of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights from 2001 to 2011, and he came back to Rutgers in 2020 and has been the head coach for the Scarlet Knights ever since then. The Scarlet Knights come into this matchup with a record of 2-0. They defeated the Northwestern Wildcats 24-7, and last week they took down the Temple Owls 36-7. Rutgers quarterback Gavin Wimsatt is a good one. The junior quarterback comes into this game having thrown for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns. Last week against the Owls, Wimsatt was 10 for 21 for 198 yards, and he threw for 1 touchdown. Scarlet Knights' leading rusher is Kyle Monongai. The junior comes into this game with 42 carries for 214 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Scarlet Knights' leading receiver is Jaquay Jackson. The senior comes into this game with 5 receptions for 99 yards. On the defensive side of the ball, the Scarlet Knights are led by leading tackler Tyreem Powell. The junior comes into this game with 9 solo tackles on the season, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. He looks like a very aggressive defender, and our offensive line is going to have to do well against him as a whole, because our offensive line has not played well at times this season, and they're going to have to come out strong in this game. As I watched the highlights from the Scarlet Knights game against the Temple Owls last week, it seems like the Scarlet Knights like to operate out of the shotgun a good amount. The Scarlet Knights have a powerful run game that does worry me. The Big Ten has a history of having bruising running backs, and we did struggle against the run last week against Purdue. Rutgers quarterback Gavin Wimsatt does also like to cause a number from time to time and take off running. I will say from watching his highlights, especially in the Temple game, he does seem to have very good vision, and that is a great thing to have as a running back. And also, if you have a good running quarterback like Wimsatt, it just improves on how well he can play. Our defense will need to be able to stop the run and get pressure on Wimsatt this afternoon. Getting pressure on a quarterback with this caliber talent is very, very important, because if you're not going to get pressure on a quarterback that can throw and run, he's just going to pick you apart all game long, and especially with the good receivers that he has. We will need big games out of Norrell Pollard and Josh Fuga to plug up the holes on the defensive line to try to take away the ability for Wimsatt and the rushing attack of the Scarlet Knights to run. Wimsatt also throws a nice ball, and he can really air it out. Like a couple plays in the highlight video that I watched against Temple, he was really throwing the ball. Like, he hit one receiver, looked like almost like a 50-yard pass. I mean, the receiver had very good, he was able to get behind the defender and make the catch, and it was just spot on. It almost looked like he was throwing a dart to him. And when you got a quarterback like that, your secondary is going to have to play well and not let those receivers get behind you, because when you're a secondary player, your main goal is to not let the receiver get behind you, because if that happens and the receiver has a lot of speed, then it could be a easy touchdown going to the house from there. It almost looks like Wimsatt looks like a dual threat quarterback, and that is going to take all hands on deck from our defense to contain this offense. On the offensive side of the ball for the Hokies, quarterback Grant Wells is questionable, and he has a game-time decision for this game. Personally, here's what I'd say. Why don't we start Kyron Drones this game and see what he can do? I mean, he did show sparks when he came in on the last drive against the Boilermakers last week. I really like Drones, and I think that this was a great pickup as a transfer from Baylor. Hokies receiver Ali Jennings is out this week, and wide receiver Jalen Lane is questionable for today, and he is a game-time decision. If Lane is not able to go today, and with Jennings already being out, we are going to need big games out of Stephen Gosnell and Daquan Felton. We will need a good game out of our offensive line as well to create holes for the likes of Byshul Tootin and Malachi Thomas. Our offensive line has struggled this season thus far, opening up holes for our run game, and Rutgers has a good defensive line, and we are going to need to block well. We're going to have to get our reads right and make sure the offensive line's footwork is as well too. And we're not going to be able to miss many blocks, because if we do that, it's going to put pressure on our quarterback, and that leads to mistakes, leads to possible fumbles, throwing away. And when you put pressure on the quarterback, it sometimes it causes him to panic and throw a ball right to a defender, and it leads to very bad things for an offense, and our offensive line is going to have to play well today. Scarlet Knights have a strong defense, only giving up 14 points total thus far for this season. It would definitely be a tough task today for offense, but I believe if our offensive line can step up and give whoever we start at quarterback time to throw and open up the running lanes needed for Byshul Tootin and Malachi Thomas, I believe that we can find success today on the offensive side of the ball. We will need to make smart decisions with the ball, as the Scarlet Knights defense has 4 interceptions thus far on the season. This will be a tough game for the Hokies. However, I am going to say that we will come out with a win today in New Jersey. As for my score prediction, I think it will be a close one, and I will take the Hokies 24-21. I think we will come out fired up today after a tough loss last week to the Boilermakers. The start of that game only really played, 10 minutes or 5 minutes of that game, and then we got into that over 5 hour delay. So it was a tough game, but we had many opportunities to win that game, and it just didn't fall our way. And I think the Hokies are going to come out fired up today after that tough loss last week. So I hope you all enjoy my video, and I want to say, if you like my videos, be sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. And keep an eye out for my next video, where I will do my post-game reaction of this game. Until next time, go Hokies.